And one of the things I'm going to discuss is the limitations, the natural limitations of transit in the age of the automobile. The density dilemma. Alan Pisarski is probably one of the foremost authorities in the country on commuting in America. He put together this graph of the personal vehicle and mass transit, and basically, as densities are lower, more people ride cars. The higher they get, they'll take the bus. But look at this. Even at 2,000 to 4,000, which is pretty much where Pinellas County is, all around the country, that's about your transit ridership. Less than 5%. That's why I said you're actually not doing that bad. As you increase population densities, you're still only getting a little bit. You're still not getting all that much. If you go to Manhattan, maybe you'll get significantly higher, but again, who wants to live in Manhattan? Nice place to visit, wouldn't want to live there. Share motorized trips. Okay, before there was cars, everyone took public transportation if they didn't ride their horse, and it's gone steadily down since the coming of the automobile, and it's way down here. And there's nothing that says simply rezoning for higher density is going to lead to a dramatic change. It may wiggle around the margins, but it's just not going to change all that much. So, and this is in Portland, and Randall spent a lot of time on Portland, so I'm not. But after all their investments, the one thing that helped get people out of the cars was tanking the economy. So I don't know if we want to go that route again if we ever get out of this one. So, the tragedy of the commons. Some of you may have heard that phrase. Basically what it says is you have common areas. When common areas are publicly managed or publicly operated, the quality goes down. And when they're privately operated, the quality goes up. Nothing better symbolizes this than the difference between your personal automobile and a public transit vehicle, whether it's rail or bus. Some of the things you hear about why people don't want to take public transit are kind of funny. Crazed naked guy terrorizes New York City. Man busted for mooning on the trolley. Pantless riders take over light rail on Sunday. You know, ha ha he he. But there's more serious problems with the tragedy of the commons. Man assaulted at light rail station. Dies from injuries. Baltimore. Metro security increases. Washington. SJBT cracking down on drug dealers, San Jose. Teen robs man gunpoint at light rail station, Charlotte. There's more. Why transit riders don't report unwanted sexual behavior. Half of the women who take the BART system out in San Francisco and San Jose have experienced unwelcomed sexual gestures and exposure, but very few report it because no one does anything about it. Man convicted at light rail stations. There's more. You know, rats are not. Transit chief opposes ban on eating subways. Video shows man being punched. These are new, these are recent. I mean, we would spend hours just going down the laundry list of what happens with the tragedy of the commons. And then this one led to a rail enthusiast walking out of my presentation in Washington, D.C. just last week because he said, rail is clean, buses are dirty. Well, this is the BART trains out in San Francisco. New York Times did an expose, and they found that there are high concentrations of bacteria strains, several types of mold found on the seat. Fecal and skin-borne bacteria resistant to antibiotics were found. Now, these are systems that receive lots of money. They're not poor. Lots of money, still problems. Now, I tell you what, if you ever got in my personal vehicle, better known as the smoking hot minivan, you would be exposed to sunflower seeds spit on the floor, coffee cups in the cupboard, and or on the other seat and everything. But the point is, you don't have to ride there. You don't have to sit by me. If I get out from playing with the kids and I have a interesting body odor, you're not exposed to it. Just my kids. You know? So there is a big difference in the world of private transport and public transport that you can gloss it up and put the most shiniest catchphrases with it, but the bottom line is intuitively know this. And so I'm not saying there shouldn't be public transit. I'm not saying that we shouldn't try, but we should understand the limitations. There are some of your officials who truly believe with just the right zoning and a little bit of light rail, we're going to have this
There are things in this world worse than poop, as you're about to find out. Third thing worse than a toilet seat, yep, your cell phone. You carry it around in your hands all day long, you smear your fingers all over it, you put it in your pocket or in your cup holder. Really, you might as well just wipe your butt with it. And yes, there's an app for that. And when I say you might as well wipe your butts with it, it's because studies have shown that cell phones not only carry biblical amounts of Staphylococcus aureus, they also carry trace amounts of fecal matter. That's okay, because it's not like we're putting the phone right up next to our faces or anything. Oh wait, that's exactly what we do. And if you can imagine anything worse than putting a phone smeared with human poop on your face, guess what? The keyboard that your hands are probably resting on right this second is far worse. Computer keyboards get maybe the most hand time of any modern appliance, and yet we never clean them. In fact, people think you're crazy, like you're some kind of germaphobe whenever you get a Q-tip after one. Which is why the average keyboard has approximately 3,925 germs per square inch. And I don't have a ruler on me, but that's just about the size of each one of those little keys. And if the average keyboardist makes about 100 keystrokes per minute, then you're looking at about 329,500 germ exposures per minute. But that pales in comparison to the number one thing that is dirtier than a toilet seat.
You know, how many of you have cell phones? How many of you have a laptop? Or why?